Hi, okay, I'm getting my area ready. Today we're painting with some pine trees, so I add a little bit of pine smell soap to my water. Okay, I've already put on my dry hand relief. And let's just turn it around, not waste any time, and get started. How's everybody's Sunday going? That orientation should be proper. My new palette. I need to go to the art store and get an actual palette. The Dixie plates are getting a lot of advertisement on my site here. Okay. I know why I wasn't talking very much last week. I was a little bit congested, and turned out I was kind of under the weather for the past couple days, so I feel better today. It's the big white because we use a lot of the titanium white. And for this sky, we actually have a little pink. That pink is not as thick as the rest of the paint, I just realized. Still getting adjusted here. Okay. I'm going to do the canvas long ways today, so I need more space for the stream. Okay. I added some faux painting glaze, or like a clear acrylic medium, so that the paints would be a little bit more translucent and just go on the canvas more smoothly. Been watching Bob Ross today. He instructs you to use little circles for your clouds, but I don't always go with that, but I could try. He is Bob Ross, right? This one's a pretty vivid inspiration piece. So we'll see. I'm gonna need more white. Trying to keep it centered. Okay, we're ready for the marsh. I've suddenly started to love marshes. I love the different colors of native grasses. And there's always a beautiful sunset, and it reflects in the little patches of water. The water doesn't have to be pristine because no one's really swimming in it. You might be fishing in it. Fishing's fun. Just like to look at it. There's some water that you just need to look at, right? You don't want to think about swimming in it or walking around in it unless you've got all your gear and your waders and you're ready for a possible alligator, right? Right. It's always a possibility. Oh, I've never used this one. What color is this that I'm choosing? Let's put the glasses on. Crimson. I have not opened the crimson. Here we go, opening crimson. Okay. It's going to turn into a bit of a neutral because there's already green on my brush. It's going to be one of those days when I have a lot of extra paint, I think. During the pandemic, I watched Pole Dark. This music reminds me of that series. Pole Dark, Pole Dark. It's kind of sad. I didn't know every tune on this playlist would be sad. But it is peaceful at least. It's quite peaceful. I'm painting, so peacefully painting with the Pole Dark music. Okay. The one underneath it was Celtic music, which is kind of similar also, and I didn't choose that one because I thought that one would be sad at times, but this one's turning out to be even more sad. Oh well. That little section needs to dry just a little, so I'm gonna hop around and go with see how many colors we can fit in this marsh. The placement and juxtaposition of like a violet with a yellow is okay, but it could turn into a neutral, so trying to keep them separated. The crimson is an ongoing theme. It kind of like separates the colors a lot. Mixed with some Fireball orange. That was not a happy accident. But it's okay. It's acrylic, it dries fast, and I'll be able to cover that. It's the same color basically. I just went trying to keep a certain pattern flowing, and that little red patch right here was in the wrong area. Working my way, see, I am painting upside down, so cut me some slack. All right, so let's just keep going here. one of our, that's black. I don't want black. This one was the raw umber. We're going to stick with that one as our dark. There's the marsh, finally. We're at the marsh. In my turquoise green. I do like to use a broader brush. I suddenly just remembered a technique I used to use with my murals that I never shared with anybody. I used to have muralists from around the world contact me through email off of my Wendy's Walls website, and they wanted to know, how did I do this? How did I do that? And I would give just enough information that, you know, if they're real artists, they could figure it out, right? So I may have seen one or two that, not that I was tracking, you know, who was emailing what or anything like that, but I did see some murals online that looked similar to what I was doing. Anyway, they don't sell the faux glaze by the gallon anymore at Home Depot. I don't believe. They might. It's Bear. The brand is Bear. But it's just gone out of style, I guess. The faux painting. But I would buy it by the gallon and mix a lot of my acrylic paints with glaze to bring it down, like more of a pastel for the nurseries. And then there was this technique if I was painting a jungle and I had like a scene where there's like an animal that swims, and I didn't want the jungle to be, or the water to be too dark, I would first paint in like the rocks or whatever's under the water, aquatic grasses, even if there was like a little fish in there. And then or like pebbles always looked really cool. Then I would take this turquoisey blue and mix it with like 3/4 of the clear glaze medium, and wait for the rocks and the little fishies and whatever was under the water. That would have to dry for a few minutes, and then I would just swish the glaze over the top. Then I would highlight that with white, like pure white, titanium white, and it always just worked. Just remembered that because I'm doing this scene down here with the marsh, trying to keep the water kind of like looking clean, but at the same time it's a marsh and it's got all these dark native grasses. That's what it's going to be here. And there's also some swampy green highlights. You know, there's beauty in every type of landscape. The marsh, the swamp, and an ecosystem equally beautiful to match. You just have to look. Paint's getting sticky. Okay, I'm gonna move on. We will tweak the water if we need to, but I would like to start on what's happening up here. Take care of that little spot. Okay. So, I learned today from Bob Ross that you're supposed to make a certain noise when you paint tree trunks. I'm going to use glaze with this because this is just a placement that I'm doing right now. Okay. He doesn't whistle, but I whistle. He goes more like shh. This is just placement so that I can know how the trees are tilting. Okay, that's just an idea. Just an idea. So we will start with the deep greens in the background, which are, I would say, have some umber. I don't think I'm gonna make my goal today of an hour or less. We'll do a time lapse and I'll add it to the channel if you're curious to see how it turns out. Or you can hang out with me, keep on watching too. I'm leaving the tops off of all of my paints. It's not good. I'm not going to need that color for this area. I'm going to need some more of the lake blue. Just prepping here. Prep. You'll probably have your own ideas of what to put here. I'm just winging it. So, happy little accidents might occur. It's Sunday. We're just chilling, right? Okay. I'm feeling better, so that's all that counts, if you ask me. Right? Right. This one's just a little complicated with the acrylics. I don't want to mix up the colors. Put a little more glaze. This is the clear medium. It's kind of like a glue consistency, but it's also a little bit swishy, so helps the paint glide. Got the white out so I could just kind of like this part is dried enough for me to more of my crimson. See, it is crimson after all. It's just timing. The timing of when it was supposed to go in that area. I didn't want it to be wet when I was putting in the green, the deep green forest background, the thicket, the swampy thicket background there. That area needs to be a little bit darker. Darker, darker, darker. Go with the black. I honestly don't know how Bob Ross used to talk so much while he painted. I learned today that he was in the military for 20 years, and his position in the military, he made it up to Master Sergeant, and he was the one that yelled at people. Can y'all believe that? I know. And he said when he retired. He retired from the military because he started making a good living at his art, obviously. And he claimed he would never raise his voice again because he was the one that used to have to tell people, scrub the latrine, get the plates. Like, he was in the clinic, actually. So I thought that was very, because I was just sitting there thinking how peaceful he is when you're watching him paint. It's just so peaceful. And to learn that he had to yell at people, that kind of made me sad. I had to yell at people for 20 years that were not my, not my kids. I would be kind of sad and ready to just rest my voice. I'll let that dry. And I'm going to work on some highlights here. And before I do the leaves on the trees, the sky actually has more color to it to go along with all this color. So we need some pink. Find a new spot on my palette there. Okay. This is called primary red, but to me this looks really pinky. It's this one. Let me put my glasses on, y'all. Scarlet and primary red. Scarlet is way too red to me. So okay. I think we've already got enough of our blues in there. Time for the brush that loses bristles all the time. Need some new brushes. Okay. I'm loading it up with some of my glaze. And this is already dry, almost. I see a little wet spot. I'm going to need more of this milky white. Put a tiny spot on my plate. There we go. Okay. Bob Ross says go in circles. I'm going to try his technique. Too much khaki right there. I need some white and some pink. It's that time of day right now, probably, and in the painting where this guy looks like cotton candy. He also says to go over it with a dry brush once you get it in the right position to kind of like smooth it down, which I don't know about that today, because this is not a smooth painting. Like his paintings back in the 80s, early 90s were very smooth. That was the style. This style is not like that. We had a happy accident, y'all. can't stand. Sorry. Luckily that portion of the painting was completely dry. That was not supposed to happen, and I'm not gonna add another 15 minutes to this already longer than usual stream just to have a happy accident. So we fixed it. I was trying to just put a little extra coloration on that side, and a little bit of black I got on that sea sponge. That's what happens when you don't use your glasses. Yellow will really overpower some white. So since you tuned into the live stream, you know where the little happy accidents occurred. Okay. All right. We are working our way back over to the trees, and then a little bit of tweaking at the bottom. Sign it after I do a little check, and we would be done. Okay. Need to do, I'm going to use the fan brush the way Bob Ross uses it. I'm going to try. Okay, I'm gonna turn around. Oh yeah, that's right. There's one color missing in the trees. I notated. There. And we need a little bit more highlight across the swamp green. And I want to use like the bright yellow, which I haven't used except for over here in the cloud, which okay, I'm gonna sign, and then we're going to walk around. Put it on the easel. a different color palette for sure. Gonna put some phosphorescent and some sparkle glaze. And it's done. But the acrylics actually need to dry. My dingo German Shepherd is playing with his chicken. Okay. Thanks for joining. Here's what we did. The yellow part's not really supposed to be a sunset. It's just maybe too bright. I might tone that down. It was just supposed, it dried darker. Okay, thanks for joining. Bye, see you Tuesday.